What's up, Mark? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. What have you been up to?
Oh, come on. What have I not been up to? You know, I've been kind of traveling the world, you know, from Brazil to Germany to Japan to Australia. Now, you know, doing the reality show, and they're keeping me busy, brother.
You're killing me. That was my first question. My first question was going to be, what have you been up to lately, and have you been traveling the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you know, I started off with the reality show in Brazil, the Tough International, and that went well. You know, I did the first 16 fights, the 32 fighters that came into the house, and I worked those and came back to the States, and I left two cutting in there for 6 weeks, and matter of fact, I just had lunch with one of them, and, you know, the show went very well, and got back, and I went to Germany with Klitschko, and came back, and I think Chicago, Omaha, Japan, and Sydney, Australia.
Oh, nice. So you must really be adding up the air miles.
Man, I just got my platinum. Believe it or not, I just got upgraded. I think it was United. I'm a platinum holder now, so that just kind of says a lot.
Yeah, for sure. We were talking to the name is slipping my mind right now. He's a famous ring announcer, does a lot of MMA and boxing. But anyways, he told me he was flying back and forth from California to Texas 5 times just to earn his platinum a few months back.
Wow, yeah, but he's not doing the internationals like me. That's where it gets real hairy. You know, you got to go from one airport to the other, and, you know, got to go use your passport here and your passport there, but it makes it fun. Yeah,
for sure, man. Okay, so talk us through this Forrest Griffin versus Shogun fight with the bag cut.
Oh, the one way back in when Shogun fought Forrest Griffin?
The first one.
Yeah. Well, it was one of my signature fights, definitely, you know, and I've always liked working with Forrest, and it was the fight where you had the first Pride fighter that fought the first UFC fighter. I mean, Shogun and Anderson Silva and all that, you know, they came, or Vanderlei Silva, they came and joined the ranks of the UFC. So that was a big fight, you know, when you're showing a UFC guy against the Pride fight, and it was a tough fight, and Forrest ended up with a major cut on his forehead that it actually was highlighted in the video game for the second year. And but I plugged it up, you know, did one of my best jobs there, and he ended up tapping out Shogun, and you know, kind of became a little bit of a hero that night.
Yeah, for sure, man. So let's see here. Last time you were on the show, you gave us a little inside story in the Henderson Shogun fight. You're talking about how you were unaware that it was going to be 5 rounds. Just talk us through that again.
Yeah, a little. You know, I was a little embarrassed until I found out just how good Shogun did the last 2 rounds. But you know, we've never had a 5-round fight that was not a title fight. And actually, Josh Rosenthal and myself, I mean, I wasn't the only one. You know, it wasn't really fully explained to us. And at the end of the 3rd round, I mean, these guys were probably the fight. It's going to be probably the fight of the decade, no doubt about it. And you know, Shogun has gotten beaten down for the first 2 rounds, and you know, he survives the 3rd round, and he's walking towards me, and I walk towards him because, you know, he's all beat up, and I'm applying ice on him, and I'm directing him towards the chair to sit him down, and he asked me in Spanish if this was the final round, and I said yes, and you know, and I'm just working on it because that's what I do with a fighter after the fight, especially when, you know, they're all banged up and swollen and all that.
Sure.
And it just happens to be that they're giving us the 10 count where we got to leave out, and the fighters continue, and I'm thinking, oh, shit, you know, we got 2 more rounds, but Shogun did tremendous in those 2 rounds, and when I see him, I still got to apologize to him. I don't think he realized that I was trying to cut him short.
Right. I love that story, though, man, and that sort of thing happens quite often in sports. Were you over there in Australia for the little clusterfuck there?
Oh, I was. Oh, absolutely. You know, and you talking about with the Henderson Frankie Edgar fight, or the one with Mighty Mo and Ian?
Yeah, Mighty Mo and Uncle Creepy there.
Yeah, Uncle Creepy. Yeah, I was there. You know, it was a tough fight, definitely. You know, knowing now what I know now, it was, you know, kind of a game changer. I know Dana wasn't very happy with what happened, and and neither was Ian, and obviously now, Mighty Mouse, but, they get a chance to fight again, and, those are some of the things, is growing pains. Whenever you're going through something new, it's, sometimes we just got to make our adjustments as I go, but, to see these 125-pounders come into the UFC, to me, it's tremendous. And Leon Roberts was a referee, and, he gets out of the octagon after that fight, and he just drenched in sweat, and I give him one of my towels to wipe off, and he said, I couldn't keep up with these guys. They were just so fast. And even the camera guy that's filming them, he's a friend of mine, Dan, and he said, man, he goes, it was tough for me to keep my pace with these guys. They were just so fast. But they definitely bring a lot of fight to the table, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Now, let's switch gears here for a moment and talk Klitschko's. What's going on with them?
Well, I just got the call the other day. Vladimir Klitschko is going to be fighting again July the 7th. That I'm sure it's in Germany. I haven't got the confirmation on that, but they always are in Germany. And, Vitaly Klitschko fought a while back, and he ended up knocking out Derek Chisora. And, that turned out to be kind of an embarrassing fight for the Brits because, I don't know if you guys saw the news, but during the weigh-ins, and, the Klitschkos are the nicest guys in the world, and they're very professional. And, when they're squaring off for pictures after the weigh-in, Chisora, I guess, is so excited and nervous that he just ends up and gives Vitaly a bitch slap, and which made it bad. It was really disrespectful. But then during the fight, he ends up getting water and walks towards Vladimir and spits water on his face. That was, it was, and David Haye, when he fought Vladimir, he was very disrespectful, and to see Chisora and to do that was, it's just twofold. And but they both got their action going at the post-fight press conference because they got in a fight, David Haye and Chisora. So the two Brits got in a fight in Germany and didn't even get paid for it. And it's great because the police stopped them at the airport and arrested them. So payback's a bitch.
Yeah, for sure, man. Now, this was a question that I got emailed to me yesterday from a fan. He wants to know about what time do you have to show up at the arena and just walk us through a night of working for the UFC.
Oh, very good question. Normally we all, the first group of fighters that are going to fight, we all get on the bus together and we all head off to the arena. And once we get into the arena, the cutman, we'll go into our dressing room and Burt Watson, our coordinator, will assign the fighters to their dressing rooms. And once they get into their dressing rooms, then they're, they let them go out to the octagon and roll around the octagon and just kind of get the feeling of that. But in that process, we're getting our gauze and our tape and our towels and we're getting everything ready, and we already have the list of fighters that we're going to be wrapping. And once they get back and they settle in, then we walk in and we start wrapping the fighter's hand from the first fight all the way down to the bottom. And once the fight starts, then I'm at octagon size until the second half of the crew comes, and usually I wrap the main event, so two or three guys that come in on the second group, and I'll go get them and get replaced at ringside, and then when I'm finished, then I just lock myself into the octagon for the rest of the night. So, but it's a busy night.
Yeah, for sure, man. Now, as far as wrapping hands, how many fighters would you wrap their hands in a night? Like, do you ever do both fighters? Like, certain guys come to you and say, Stitch, you need to do my hands.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Was it Brock Lesnar and Alistair Overeem? I wrap both the fighters, and usually the top guns, they assign them to me. But there's, in one given night, if they give me 5 fighters to wrap, I'll do 7 or 8 of them, only because, it's tough for me to say no to these guys, and I know if I give them a little bit of confidence by wrapping their hands, I'll do that, so I'll just kind of, go beyond the call of duty and take care of a fighter, even though he's not assigned to me. When we did the reality show in Brazil, there was only 3 cutmen that wrapped 32 fighters' hands, and I tell you what, man, I ended up doing like 10, 12 fighters in that night. And then when we're in Tokyo, the cutmen from England couldn't make it over because UPS had lost one of the passports for one of the cutmen, So there was only Rudy Hernandez and myself taking care of all the fighters, and we managed. I mean, you know, we busted our butts, and in between fights, as soon as the fight would finish, one of us would run to the back and wrap a fighter's hand, and then, you know, because there's a gap between one fight and the other, and that, you know, in 10 minutes we could wrap a fighter's hand, you know, and we'd wrap the fighter's hand and then come back and work the fight, and then the bell would ring at the end of that fight, and the other guy would go back and wrap hands, but we did it, you know, and I know Gomi in Japan he was asking me, he says, Stick-san, he says, how many hands maybe you wrap in your career? You know, how many hands have I wrapped? And
right.
I said, you know, Gomi, maybe 5,000, you know. I said, but you're 5,001, you know. So yeah, you know, I've done a whole lot of hands, man. Yeah,
for sure, man. For sure. Okay, would you like to promote your book, your website, or your Twitter or Facebook?
Yeah, well, you know, the book is doing great, and it's on Kindle now. It's From the Fields to the Garden, The Life of Stitch Duran. And, you know, I'm very proud of that book that you get at Amazon.com, or you can go to Kindle and just, you know, read it as you're, you know, as you see fit that way. My Twitter is @StitchDuran, so get a hold of me anytime.
Okay, Stitch, you're always awesome to give us some of your free time. You don't have a lot of it, so we really appreciate it, and hope you have a good night.
I will, man. You guys keep up the good work, and let's do it again, huh?
Okay, man. Talk to you later.
All right, thanks.
Yep, bye.